Well, are we ready?
Yep.
It's time to find out what all the fuss is about with this Halloween campaign. But first, we've had a little transmogrification. A new character. Tell us about this new character real quick.
So, my new character is named Noggins.
Bless you. Oh, you didn't sneeze?
No.
Noggins. I think that's a great name.
And he's a elf rogue and a wizard.
Elf, rogue, and wizard. How old is he?
He's 20 years old.
20 years old. And what does he look like?
He has green eyes he has green hair and purple eyes.
Okay. So this should be interesting. So we have Gwilwillithel and Noggins. Noggins, the rogue wizard. So are Gwilwillithel and Noggins ready to get this show on the road?
Yes.
During your travels and adventures, you pass through many towns. You usually look forward to what the next town might be. Some you've been through many times, others less frequently, and then there are still a few you've never visited. You arrive in such a town on this day. You've been traveling for a long time, weeks. You're tired, you're hungry, you're ready to just rest and restore for a couple of days. But something is wrong in this town. Some of the buildings are wrong. Most of them, in fact. What should be normal, common houses and shops like you've seen in so many towns before look like something deranged and distorted. Their shapes irregular, their colors faded, and some are adorned with bizarre creatures, symbols, and objects. You follow streets and alleys headed for the center of town to get a room at the inn. And eventually you're walking through a narrow street of shops and street vendors. It's more like the size of an alley, okay? Various vendors crowd this street with with tables of their wares, meats, vegetables and fruits, clothes, etc. As you make your way through, you get the looks you're used to, strangers in town. But there's also something else, a suspicion, maybe even a fear, like something bad is happening and then you show up. Maybe you're involved. They're wondering about you. Their eyes track you as you pass. They whisper and mumble to each other. Their paranoia makes this street feel narrower and narrower as they all stop to look at you. As you're nearing the end of this street, you're about to enter into the town square, the center of town, a man steps in front of you with a sword. And two men grab Gwilwillithel from behind and restrain her. One is a blacksmith, and the other is a butcher. You saw both of them along the way. The butcher clamps his huge hand over Gwilwillithel's mouth. It's greasy and smells of blood. The man with the sword looks like maybe an off-duty soldier. He's fit and muscular. Armed with a long sword, he holds confidently. His sword drops out of his hand, and he falls down. He's still moving, but he can barely even lift his head. He has like half a hit point left, okay? He's almost dead. So you raise up your sword, and a voice yells, "Stop!" The crowd goes silent. A man who is obviously the patron of this town approaches through a path where the crowd has parted. He looks at the man on the ground, And then he looks at the two of you. And he looks at the men holding you. And then he looks around at the rest of the crowd, and he does not look happy. What is going on here? Just because these two are strangers doesn't mean they intend harm or have anything to do with what's going on. He bends down to look at the man on the ground and says, "Oh, Thodean, always so foolishly rushing into fights." He stands up and says to the crowd, "This man is near to death, beyond what any healer in this town can help."
I can help him.
He looks at you suspiciously and says, "If she is a healer, release her and let her heal him." They let you go.
Get off me.
Get off me.
And I'm walking up to the guy, and I'm going to put my healing stone on him. Wherever he's hurt the worst.
Just go ahead and do it right here on center mass.
Yeah, I
Okay.
stabbed him.
So, what does the effect look like?
It's pink sparklies.
Okay, the man opens his eyes. And as Gwilwilithal stands, she's just watching as all the wounds are closing and healing as everybody else is watching. And he stands to his feet and he looks around in wonder. And then everyone freaks out. People are yelling things like, "Workers of magic!" Somebody else says, "You see, Aelaborn? They have to be responsible for this!" And someone else yells, "Kill them! Kill them with fire!" And then there's people all around you, seizing both of you. You can't fight them. You're both held immovable by a huge group of people. And the patron doesn't intervene this time. He looks very concerned and suspicious. He doesn't look determined to defend you now. He's worried about his people. So both of you are being held now, and you can't move at all. And he says, "You are a worker of magic. A conjurer? Sorceress, perhaps. Are you here to harm? To kill? Are you death?"
No, I'm not
No, we're
dead.
not. We're hunters.
We're hunters and freer of people.
We say
He looks at you suspiciously, considering you. And then he looks around to address his people. "Yes, whoever may be responsible, the great evil that once cursed this place has clearly returned after centuries of being dormant. We've all heard the stories since childhood, which have been told for generations, so we know it is that very same evil that is now upon us this morning. Or maybe you should be telling them. Do you already know about all of this? Do you know what we woke up to this morning? Do you know what happens next? Do you know things?"
How could we possibly know? We're not from here.
And he's looking at you, but he raises his voice so the rest of the crowd can hear. "My friends, our town will be consumed by tomorrow's dawn unless someone can stop it. Will
We can stop it.
killing these two stop the evil? Centuries ago, a champion came forth from among us and vanquished the darkness. But this time we have no such champion, and all will be lost. We have no choice but to flee this place."
You don't have to flee this place. We can fight it.
At that point, people start speaking up, saying things like, "What can it hurt?" And, "If they can, let them." Somebody else says, "The sooner they're gone, the better." And somebody else says, "Let them die at the hand of their own kind." And someone else says, "Just burn them!
This is your home. Don't you want it to save it from this dark thing you talk about?
The patron just continues to eye you suspiciously and then softens a bit. If you would take this quest, there is only one man who knows the way to the evil place. He alone can tell you how to get to the wood where the ancient evil once lived. He made the journey once before, and now he's dead, buried in the ancient graveyard. He was the founder of this town, our great founder, Balthier. And everyone groans. Oh, boy. His name was Felric! Somebody else says, you old nut! Our founder was human. His name was Pothrith Elsa. Somebody else says, heretics! His blessed name was Zerbogotham! The patron with a sigh says, well, as you can see, his name has been argued for as long as anyone can remember, and has probably been lost to time. Simply find the oldest grave in the old graveyard. For our founder was the first to die and be buried in the old graveyard. We no longer bury our dead there. The dead laid to rest there tend to become restless. And no one has dared go there in many years because of the horrors that surround and infect that place. Taggart! And he looks around and everybody parts over in this direction. And there stands a vendor of magical items and oddities. He's got a little push cart thing, like those ice cream guys would have, you know? And he goes digging through it, and he pulls out a bottle. Now, we didn't have a bottle of vinegar like I was looking for, but, you know, it's like a ball at the bottom, and it's got a neck right here, and it's about this big, okay? And it's filled with a purple swirling liquid. And he hands it to the patron. The patron holds it out to you and says, and motions to them, and they all release the two of you. He hands you the bottle and says, this oil will enable you to speak with the dead. Just pour it down the grave. And then be quick, for when all the oil is into the ground, the dead goes back to his grave. And be sure it's the right grave, don't waste it. This is the only one in the whole town, and it's probably impossible to get more. For you see, it is made by an old wizard who lives far from here. He makes all manner of items that you cannot find anywhere else. A voice speaks up from the back of the crowd and says, you walk into that cursed forest dressed like that. You think you're there to make trouble and send the whole forest after you before you get 10 feet. It's an old woman, and she has a large cart that's pulled by a donkey. The patron, who clearly doesn't like her very much, says, that's Golbor. She's a traveling costumer here for Halloween. Golbor, are you offering to help our would-be heroes? She says, I ain't got much left. Today being Halloween, I'm mostly sold out by now. But I'll see what I've got that might fit ya. So, the two of you accompany her. Her cart is really something. Large cart pulled by a donkey. At the back of it, it opens, and then this pole thing flips out, and there's a curtain that pulls out so that you can change into your costumes in there. So, for Gwil Willithel, I imagine it would look something like this. Did I send it to the wrong device?
Yeah.
Don't say nothing yet, and don't look at his screen. Are you LGE? No, your tablet isn't showing up.
Oh dear.
Go launch KDE Connect. but this will give a moment to let you know it's a clown costume.
Oh dear.
The last one that she has that's going to fit you is a clown costume. And we are not talking an evil Halloween clown. We're talking the last costume she has available. Is more like
Oh,
a
dear.
cheap party Halloween clown costume. So, Gwilwillithel puts on her silly clown costume, but of course, you still have your weapons. So, you put on your belt with your sword, you still carry your shield, you take all your clothes and put them into your knapsack, and you will spend the next 4 sessions
Oh dear.
wearing a costume very much like that one. Now, I can tell you, it might also be something like this. I mean, you've got your own headcanon, so to speak, what you think your silly clown costume looks like. But it'll be something like one of these costumes, okay? So, oh, don't you even be laughing, boy, because she doesn't have much that'll fit you either. So are we ready to find out what Nogglenoggins' costume is
Yeah.
going to look like? Yep, the only costume that she has left that fits you is a big cute teddy bear. He even has a red bow around his neck. And for the next 4 sessions, you will be wearing your teddy bear suit. And I found, uh-oh, I just sent it to the wrong person. I found this picture, which I thought might kind of look like the costume that Nogglenoggins is wearing. He's a big, cute teddy bear with a red ribbon around him's neck, but he is a teddy bear that is armed to the teeth. So you've got your masterwork longsword, your paralysis knife. Do you have a shield? I don't think you have. I don't think Nogglenoggins has a shield. So,
Yeah, he does.
oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Nogglenoggins the teddy bear, and we've got Gwilwillithel the birthday clown. Once you are costumed and ready to go, you see that the townspeople have already gone their way. There's no crowd anymore. Even the patron has apparently gone back to whatever his business is. So, without any fanfare whatsoever, send-off, or anything else, you head toward the hilly forest. You follow a path up. You're getting higher up in the hills and deeper into the trees. The deeper you go, the taller the trees get. And it seems to be darker than you think it should be for this time of the day. There is an occasional sign letting you know you're on the right path to the old graveyard, but they're warning signs, letting you know that you are headed for cursed ground and certain danger. It is now so dark, it's like evening, even though it's no later than midday. Eventually, you come to a long, dried-up riverbed, like an arroyo, you know. It goes all across like this. And you're following this path, and then it comes to this dried up riverbed, and there is a rope and board bridge going across it. Like in Indiana Jones, where there's ropes to hold on to, and you're walking on planks of wood. The path you can see on the other side of the bridge continues on the other side, and the bridge is about 40 feet across. So what I was thinking of is, you know when you stand at Vista at tee box 1, the first tee, and there's the basket for hole number 9, right? That's about 40 feet. So that's about how far this bridge goes across. So,
Is the riverbed deep?
it looks no more than 30 feet down at its deepest point. And as far as you can see in either direction, this is the only way across. Now, the riverbed, it does slope down on either side, but on this side where you would try to climb down, it looks steeper than you'd care to climb. So, you want to go across the rope and board bridge?
Yep.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you start across this bridge. You hear wood groaning against rope. You hear wood planks creaking with every step you take. You hear rope fibers stretching. And you make it about 10 feet when the rope holding the right side of the planks suddenly snaps. You're left hanging by the handhold ropes as boards fall away beneath you. You have just enough time to look down and try to figure out how far down it is when the other ropes snap and you go plummeting down. But hold on. Fortunately, you only got 10 feet. You're still above the slope. So you hit the slope pretty quickly and you just go tumbling and sliding down until you come to the bottom and you don't even take any damage. Phew!
Oh, thank God.
Across the riverbed, you can see that the slope going up the other side to the path is not very steep. You're both confident you could climb it with a little bit of effort.
Is there anything down here?
Well, you definitely hear something. And then suddenly,
Oh dear.
I hear jumble.
Yeah.
so let's see. You guys came from there, you're going this way. You're on these squares. Let's see. I said...
What
They start coming from all around you. Now, if I may explain a bit, as soon as you see these dead risen from their graves around you, it does make sense. Dead that have risen from their grave and went walking around obviously fell into this riverbed as well. And now here they come from all around you. You know, the riverbed goes this way, and they do not move very quickly, but you obviously fell down into a nest of them and didn't even realize it. And you are surrounded by the walking dead. Okay, so yes, his innards burst forth, and it's a big, soggy mess of zombie gore all around you guys. Yeah, you're going to have to clean off the fur from your paws, and she's going to... The wrong way, dude.
No,
And,
I'm just trying to...
oh, okay. And you're going to have to clean off all the gore from your clown shoes.
I need to heal him.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So I need to put this healing stone on his neck and you know, heal those bite wounds
Mm-hmm.
as well as the infection.
There's zombies.
Healing stones don't do anything for any kind of infection.
Oh.
Gwilwillithel does all her healing with the stone. She heals you up to full health. What is his full health?
Ah.
23.
Okay. And what's your max, Gwilwillithel? 28?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm going to track this a slightly different way so I know what your max is. So, in zombie movies, what happens...
27.
Oh. In zombie movies, what happens when you get bit by a zombie? Do you think these are those kinds of zombies? You don't know, do
We
you?
don't know.
So you're just going to have to find out, huh? So, I don't think you guys would want to stick around for any more undead to show up. So what do you guys want to do now?
Climb up the dirt.
Climb up the other side. Okay, so you climb up the other side of the dried out riverbed. You find the path that you were taking, and you get back on that path and continue to follow it. Any recaps or thoughts we need to interject here?
See, those are reanimated. Like, they're dead.
Yeah.
And so they're now alive. They didn't have bacteria, although I guess it could be in the soil in the cemetery.
Did you both get bit?
No.
Only
Okay.
him?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how I lost 2 hit points. I forgot.
Oh, you got a bite then.
Yeah.
So you have both been bitten by zombies.
Yeah.
So how long does it normally take in zombie stories until you become a zombie yourself?
It's 2,
12.
12. So,
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. So it could be you guys are going to become zombies yourself, but you don't even know yet. All right. Well, any other thoughts? Questions? Anything?
Well, even if we were going to turn into zombies, we don't know what to use to counteract it.
So now you guys got something to worry about. Are you or are you not going? Are you or are you not infected from the zombie bites?
Mm-hmm.
So as you follow the path, first of all, it continues to get darker still. I mean, it's just unnaturally dark in this forest. Now it's looking like late evening twilight. But it can't be that late. You know that it can't be that late. So the path goes around a little bend, and there you see gravestones. But they're not in neat little rows or anything. They're kind of scattered all over the place. It's more like people just buried people wherever. They just kind of said, this area of the forest is for burying your dead. So they just chose a spot that they liked, maybe next to a tree, maybe over here where there's nothing else near it. There's just gravestones spread out everywhere in this part of the forest, okay? So, what are you looking for? Noggle Noggins, what are you looking for here in the graveyard?
we're searching the oldest grave.
That's right, the first grave. So you need to find the oldest one. So we need to take a moment to talk about how the calendar works in Pathfinder. Now, we've already said that today, even in Pathfinder world, is Halloween. So that means the
It's
10th
lo-
month,
It's
the 10th month is Lamashon.
Lamash.
And it is the 31st of Lamashon in the year 4717. Okay? We clear on that?
Mm-hmm.
So what is tomorrow then?
Neff.
Yep, so tomorrow will be the 1st of Neff, 4717. Today is the 31st of Lamashon. And the year is 4717. We clear on all that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what would you guys like to do now?
Well, let's look at the gravestones.
Yeah.
So, you want to just start with the one closest to you?
Yeah, we'll start with the one closest.
Okay. Here is what the first tombstone, the first gravestone says. What's the guy's name?
Or block.
Yeah, Prolbach.
621 42 16.
And he died.
12 12 42
Mhm. So you'll probably need to look at another tombstone now, right? Gravestone. All right. Well, pretty close by, you see two gravestones that are together. You want to go check
Yeah,
those
let's
out?
go check those two.
Okay. So you walk over to the two tombstones or gravestones, and they say.
Hamid 5 3 42 61. Died 17 7 13 42 74. Sexu Summon born 7 20 41 30. Died 4 16 42 30.
So, what is the oldest one so far?
That one, he died after Pro Block. And she, or he, died long time.
So, you see the date that this person died, and it's long before the other ones, right?
Yeah.
So, Sexu Summermain so far is the oldest grave. As you guys are standing there trying to figure it out, a ghoul suddenly jumps up. Now, do we all remember what a ghoul is?
Yeah.
What does a ghoul eat?
He eats bodies for
Dead.
the dead.
Dead bodies. So a ghoul was in here digging up a grave so that he could eat one of the dead bodies. And he comes up from behind you. In fact, we'll even say that he got really close before you noticed him.
Of this guy. But yeah, I would say it's still Sexu Summon.
4234. And what year is it right now?
47 74.
So when you look at these dates of when people died, it was a really long time ago. 4300s, 4200s. So everybody here, these graves have been here for like 200 or 300 years. So what are y'all talking about in there?
Tlag is the
Oldest
lowest,
grave.
the oldest.
So we have a new
Mm-hmm.
number one, huh? Okay. All right. You see another two graves near you.
Let's look at the two graves.
Let's see. Rat 5 born 5 15 42 81. Died 10 4 42 83. Joe
He was only 2 years old.
Jake Borrell, born 6 20 42 18. Died 8 18 42 19.
And he was just barely a year old.
Yeah.
So there's like two babies buried here, a 2-year-old and a not even a 1-year-old. Yeah, the 4200s must have been a rough time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still saying Tillag is the oldest grave?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then just when you think there are no more, you see one a little further off, and you walk up and read it, and it says,
Oh, well, without
Oh no.
4217, you're dead.
How am I dead?
I don't know.
I'm standing right here.
read the dates.
She was born. She was born 5, 3, 41 seconds. She died on 11, 1st of 4217. You died,
Oh
man.
dear. I'm not dead yet. I will be tomorrow though.
Really? What year is it?
42
42.
or 4717. So that's 500 years ago I allegedly died.
500 years ago. Tomorrow.
Like, you were wrong. But
Oh God,
Wednesday-
so am I one of the risen dead? If my grave is here, then that means that I rose from the dead. I'm
You
a
died.
walking dead.
You'll die tomorrow.
No.
500 years ago. What the tombstone says that she died 11/1. That's the first of Neth. Tomorrow is the first of Neth, right? But this is 500 years ago, and tomorrow is the 500th anniversary of it.
So I've been dead 500 years.
Is
So
there any-
it's been 500 years.
Is there any chance that there's ever been someone else named Will Willis, though?
Maybe.
Maybe. This-
We could use our little potion-y stuff in the
Yeah.
bottle to talk
can-
to her.
Or a little bit. Let's see.
Yeah.
Now, he did say you could only use it once.
Oh,
You have to dump out the whole bottle.
Oh.
And he said when it's done soaking into the ground, that's it. The dead goes back to the grave.
Oh dear. So if I'm the thing, then I go back to the grave. And I die.
The dead that you're communicating with goes back to the grave.
Yeah, but if I'm dead, if that's me,
so 500
You know
years
you're
ago,
alive.
You're alive here. The body.
You're standing here alive, are you not?
mm-hmm.
So maybe it's somebody else named Will Willis, though. That died exactly 500 years ago, and you notice has the same birthday that you do, but 500 years previous. A little too weird, isn't it?
Very weird.
It's almost meant to be. Is it the oldest grave in the graveyard?
No.
Nagonagan, is it the oldest grave in the graveyard? I thought you said Tillag was the oldest grave.
Tomato is the oldest. In the
Are there any more graves around? That's the last one.
It's way off by itself.
Let's go back to the other grave.
No, I want to find out how this person died.
Could it be a coincidence?
This is just
No.
I mean, what do you know about this grave? This person has your name, has your birthday, but is going to die tomorrow, or did die 500 years ago tomorrow. That's pretty mysterious. And, I mean, really, a coincidence that huge? In this relationship, you're the smart fish. But you only get one of these, and there are no more. And this is not the oldest grave in the graveyard. All you know about it is that it was off by itself, away from all the others, and that there are some staggering coincidences.
Yeah, I say we pour it on Will Willithel's grave. Because we already found out for the village people what the original guy's name was.
You don't know what the original guy's name was,
Yeah,
remember?
it's Talag.
Oh, the oldest grave, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna pour it on Will Willithel's grave.
So you pour out the bottle of oil in the grave. It sinks rapidly into the ground like it's being inhaled by the earth. In fact, you hear something like someone drawing breath in, long and slow and deep. A moment later, the oil begins to sizzle, vaporizing into a cloud of light mist. In that mist, you can vaguely see a shape of a person, a woman. She appears to be elf. And she says, "I knew thou wouldst come, Gwil Willithel. For centuries have I waited."
Who are you?
I am Gwil Willithel. You are here because twice every millennia, since the blossoming of creation, an evil has stirred in these woods. A crack in the world as we know it. A crack that threatens to spread until all that exists shatters. I subdued it the last time, but I was left with a sickness. Exposure to that place of suffering seeping into my being. That sickness killed me with the rising of the sun in the morning. But this fate does not have to befall thee. Those who dwell in that place can also grant thee immunity to it. You must consume some of every enemy that thou conquerest in that place, so you will gain some of their strength. You must taste of their blood on thine blade every time you kill one. But be warned, it will also bring to thee the madness of that place. Expect to lose thy sense of what is real and what is not. Thy quest will be frightening and horrifying. First, thou wilt journey into the forest maze, where the horrors of the forest will manifest in physical form to torment thee. And then the mist and madness, where thine own senses will lie to thee. Finally, the place of dark reflections, where thy fate and the fate of the villagers will be decided for another 500 years, or forever, if thee fail to be victorious.
Oh dear.
She looks at Noggle-Noggins, sizes him up, and then looks at you and says, "Thou art fortunate to have a companion. He must be a good young man. I fought alone." Just as I knew that one with my name would come again, I discovered the land that that town sits on, and I tamed that land. No one else saw the potential that I saw. But they hunted the beasts and provided the food, the men. But when the real fight came, I fought alone. All the town's men too cowardly to accompany me, all their bravery wilting in the face of true evil. So I left them to their hunts and their competitions and made the journey myself. I knew it might mean my life. And now their descendants have forgotten my sacrifice and our name, and they will forget thy sacrifice as well. Are you yet willing to save them?
Oh yeah.
At this point, the oil is almost gone completely into the ground, and the wisps of mist are dissipating. And she says, "Go then to that wood." The mist gets thinner, wispier, and then is gone. You look at the trail leading into the wood, where the trees are denser than they are here, and you follow the trail. And we will pick it up there next session.